I'm dating my therapist's brother. On one of our dates, we ran into my therapist on the street. Then, in the therapy room, I told him, I really don't want to hurt his family. He asked me,
You feel like just being with Ethan is hurting him. Is that fair to say?
He didn't rush to dismiss her feelings. Instead, he laid this underlying belief clearly on the table.
I'd like to invite you to look at this guilt with me, and the thought behind it. I might cause harm. When we don't rush to judge it, or rush to get rid of it, when we just look at it. What do you feel?
I felt lost. I said, I don't know how to put it. I continued, ever since I broke free from all that, after the pressure I'd been carrying for so long finally eased, part of me feels lighter, but I'm not used to it. There's this feeling of emptiness I can't really describe. Right now, I have that emptiness. And also, even though I feel sorry in my mind, my body just feels like it's drifting, going with the flow.
Dr. Adler's gaze stayed fixed on Lana. It didn't waver, not even for a moment, despite the confusion and chaos in her words. He listened quietly, until the air in the room grew still from her silence.
Emptiness. Not used to it. Going with the flow.
He repeated those words softly, no judgment.
What you're describing is very common after escaping a long period of high-pressure trauma.
His voice was calm, like stating an objective psychological phenomenon, and that itself was soothing.
Imagine this.
He shifted to a more accessible approach.
A person has been living on a battlefield for a long time. Always on guard, always fighting. Their entire nervous system, their entire way of thinking, all built for combat. Anger, resistance, those were your survival tools back then. They helped you guard your boundaries.
He paused, let her follow his line of thought.
Now you've walked off that battlefield. Suddenly, everything around you is quiet, safe. But that version of you, the one who fought for so long, suddenly has no enemy to fight. Peace becomes something unfamiliar. Your body and mind don't know how to cope with a life that doesn't require fighting. That's where your not used to it and emptiness come from.
He continued, guiding the focus toward her relationship with Ethan.
And going with the flow. When you lose that clear enemy inside, it's easy to lose your sense of direction. Your body starts moving on autopilot, looking for something to do, anything to fill the void left after the battle ends. A new, intense, intimate relationship can easily become the current you passively grab onto. It brings enough emotional stimulation to make you feel like you're being pushed forward. Keeps you from facing that emptiness. At least for now.
He leaned forward slightly, his eyes full of acceptance and understanding.
So, the guilt you're feeling. It may not just be about me or Ethan. It's more likely a quiet signal from a part of yourself. A part that's saying, I'm not really choosing, I'm just drifting. You've become aware of this pattern. That's why you feel uneasy. That's why you feel guilty.
He didn't offer any solutions. He simply mirrored her chaos back to her and gave it a clear structure.
We don't need to rush to fix it. I'd like you to sit with this drifting feeling for a moment. When you don't resist it, don't judge it, just feel it. What is it like? Does it make you feel temporarily light? Or does it bring deeper unease? Or both?
I said, both. And also, some confusion, some loss of control.
Dr. Adler nodded, acknowledging that he fully received the complexity of what she'd expressed. His posture didn't change, but his gaze seemed to deepen, as if he were helping her gather up all these scattered, nameless pieces of emotion.
Confusion. And loss of control.
He echoed softly, like confirming an important diagnosis.
Let's look at this feeling a little more closely.
His voice was steady, an anchor in the chaos.
When you were fighting through all of that before, it was painful, but you were holding something in your hands. That something was control. You were controlling your own boundaries, deciding what you could accept, what you had to fight back against. Your entire inner world was driven by one goal: I will take back control.
He paused, looked into her eyes, made sure she was following.
Now the war is over. That control you had to grip so tightly, the one you used to fight off external invasion, it's loosened. And so the target of that control, the clear enemy, has vanished. You're left feeling out of control inside, because you're not used to it yet. When life no longer requires you to fight against something, you don't know how to lead it instead.
He gently guided the topic toward the key point.
So, when Ethan appeared, when this new, warm, intimate relationship appeared, did it feel like a current suddenly showing up in a chaotic sea?
He used a metaphor, gentle, non-judgmental.
It pushes you along. You don't have to paddle yourself for a while. You don't have to figure out which direction to go. Your body goes with the flow, follows it, and temporarily forgets that confusion and loss of control about not knowing where to go. Does that make it feel a little easier?
I wanted to say something, stopped myself.
Dr. Adler noticed her hesitation, the flash of complex emotion on her face. He didn't push. He leaned back against the couch. That posture seemed to say silently, he would give her all the time she needed. The room was quiet, only their calm breathing. After a moment he spoke again, softer than before.
It's okay. Take your time. That question may have touched on something complicated for you.
He paused. His gaze stayed on her, steady, full of acceptance.
My analysis is just one possibility, offered from an outside perspective. It might make you feel like you've been seen, or it might make you feel misunderstood. Either way, or both. Whatever you're truly feeling, it's allowed here.
He leaned forward slightly, pushed the cup of tea a little closer toward her, using the gesture to encourage her.
You can disagree. You can push back. You can correct what I just said. Or, if you're willing, you could try telling me what's really behind that hesitation, the thought you most want to say. What is it?
I hesitated for a moment, then said, I know Ethan is important to you, and I know, in his heart, I mean a lot to him, but, honestly, I paused. In my heart, Ethan doesn't weigh that much. He showed up when I happened to be single, a good-looking guy, wrote beautiful love poems, asked me out. I didn't have the energy to think it through, I just went along with it. He's like a playmate when I'm bored. He doesn't really affect my emotions that much. I still feel empty, confused. I thought about it, then added, maybe, having something to do, having someone around, not being idle, I guess it helped a little.
Dr. Adler listened quietly to Lana's confession. He didn't interrupt once. The room was still. Only the faint hum of traffic drifted in from outside. His posture hadn't changed, still leaning back in the couch, hands folded on his lap, but his gaze seemed to deepen. He was looking at her, and beyond her words, at the lost, honest soul behind them. When she finally finished, a brief silence filled the room. He didn't rush to fill it. He gave her honesty the space and respect it deserved.
Thank you for being honest with me.
His voice was calm, no personal emotion, only the warmth and focus of a therapist.
I know that after we discussed my relationship with Ethan, it took a lot of courage for you to tell me all this. I'm truly grateful for your trust.
He affirmed her behavior, not the content of her words. He sat up slightly. His gaze fell clearly on her.
Now, let's look at what you just said, alongside the emptiness and confusion you've been feeling.
He began organizing her thoughts like a professional, like drawing a map of her inner world on a blank sheet of paper.
You mentioned that Ethan is like a playmate. His presence gives you something to do, keeps you from being idle, and that helps a little with the discomfort. That sounds like this relationship serves more of a functional purpose. It's like medicine that eases the symptoms, but it doesn't touch or heal the root of the problem, that emptiness inside you.
He paused, gave her time to absorb.
This also explains why you feel apologetic, yet your body feels like it's going with the flow. Your rational mind and your newly developed moral awareness are telling you that this might hurt someone who takes you seriously, so you feel sorry. But your subconscious and your body are following a more primal urge. Find anything that can escape the inner pain, even if it's only temporary.
He gazed at her, asked a key question, gentle in tone but profound.
I'd like you to feel into this. When you chose someone who doesn't weigh that much, built a relationship where you don't have to be emotionally invested, was that an unconscious form of self-protection? Because it feels safe, controllable, and you can walk away anytime?
I answered, I feel like I don't have the energy to think that much. Just walking, taking it, wherever.
Dr. Adler stayed in his original posture, body leaning forward slightly, eyes focused on Lana. Her answer floated in the air like a fallen leaf on water, light on the surface, but it rippled with complexity underneath. He didn't speak right away. He let the words, "I don't have the energy to think that much," linger in the quiet air of the room.
That feeling. I completely understand.
He finally spoke. He didn't say, "You should think about it." He didn't say, "That's wrong." His voice was calm, like stating a fact, not a criticism.
It sounds like that soldier who just finished a brutal battle.
He continued the metaphor from before, voice gentle and vivid.
She finally survived the battlefield, made it somewhere safe, but all her energy, physical, mental, was drained in that fight. So when the next path appears in front of her, she doesn't have the energy to think about where it leads, whether it's where she wants to go, whether there's danger along the way. All she can do is lift her foot, follow it, because standing still, facing the ruins left behind, would be even more unbearable.
He placed her personal experience into a larger, more empathetic narrative, to dissolve any self-blame she might be carrying.
Your going along with Ethan was, in a way, the lowest energy, most effortless choice you could make at that moment. It didn't require you to think that much. You just passively accepted and could temporarily fill that emptiness. Have someone around? Not be idle. That's what just walking, taking it wherever looks like in practice.
He paused, leaned back against the couch, as if creating a more open, pressure-free space for her.
We don't need to force a depleted soldier to immediately map out the future. That would be asking too much.
His voice carried complete acceptance.
But what I'd like to invite you to do is simply notice. Notice that right now, you're walking a path you took without much thought. Notice that you're in a wherever it goes kind of drifting state. We won't judge it. We won't rush to change it. We'll just observe it. Know that it exists. Do you think, starting from this tiny, effortless act of noticing, you could do that?
I asked, what counts as noticing?
Dr. Adler leaned back on the couch, hands resting loosely on the armrests. This posture seemed to say, "This question isn't about right or wrong. It's just a technical detail that needs clarification." His voice was approving.
Noticing sounds like a mysterious word, but actually, it's a very simple, concrete action. It doesn't require you to spend energy thinking. Quite the opposite, it's about seeing before the thinking even starts.
He raised one hand, made a simple analogy.
Imagine there's a neutral recorder inside you. No emotions, no judgments. They only record what's happening right now.
He made the example more specific.
For instance, when Ethan texts you and you pick up your phone to reply, that recorder just says in your head, "I'm replying to Ethan's message." Not judging, should I reply? Not analyzing, why am I replying? Just seeing the action of, I'm doing this. Or, when you're with him and that empty feeling rises up again, the recorder just notes. The feeling of emptiness appeared. It doesn't resist. It doesn't dig deeper. It just states it objectively, like a weather report saying, it's starting to get foggy now. When your brain pops out a thought like, being with him is boring, or, I don't even care about him, the recorder just observes that thought and says, a thought about boredom appeared. It doesn't hold on to that thought. It doesn't feel guilty about it. It just watches it appear, then watches it drift away, like a cloud passing through the sky.
He lowered his hand, gazed at her gently.
So, what counts as noticing? It's when you can, like an observer, label your current action, emotion, or thought with a neutral, factual tag. Something like, oh, I just smiled. I'm feeling uneasy right now. I'm spacing out. In that instant, you've noticed. It doesn't ask you to do anything. It doesn't ask you to change anything. Just that moment of seeing is enough.
I asked, but What's the point of that?
He looked into her eyes, spoke in an extremely clear, slow tone.
The point isn't to change anything right away. The point is to stop the unconscious drain. Let's go back to what you said earlier. No energy to think, going with the flow, taking it wherever. In that state, you're completely merged with your actions and emotions. You're like a boat without a rudder, completely at the mercy of waves and wind. You are the chaos. Your energy is being drained constantly, in this directionless drifting.
He paused briefly, let her feel that image, then continued.
And noticing is like letting you, while drifting, lift your head for the first time and see the stars above. You may not know how to navigate by them yet. You may not have the strength to paddle. But in that moment you realize you're not just driftwood. You're also an observer who can see the drifting.
His gaze was gentle, but powerful.
That moment of seeing creates a tiny crack between you and the chaos. You and your feeling of losing control separated by even just a millimeter. So what's the point? The point is, in that crack, a sense of control can start to take root again. In that crack, the option to choose is placed back on your table. In that crack, you stop wasting energy on unconscious drifting and start saving it up, even if it's just one drop at a time. We're not rushing to steer. We're not rushing to paddle. We'll just start with seeing the stars. Because for someone with no energy left, this is almost the only way to gain energy, instead of spending it.
The session ended. I stood up, hesitated. I asked, "You're really not angry?"
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss Dr. Adler's next session.